good afternoon. I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. It is appreciated as always. God, I hate being late all the time. We had a Labour peer on GB News earlier this week, and basically they have reinforced everything that I've said on my own channel about flying the flag, either the flag of St George or the Union Jack, is acceptable if it's done in the right way, i.e. this flag of St George and an England game, if you're lucky. It wasn't always the case. The England flag was never used at England games up until around about 1996 with Euro 96. I'm going to place this image on the screen now, all these images. These are from the World Cup in the 1960s. The majority, if not all the flags, were Union Jacks, not the England flag. And this is England, one of the home nations, playing Germany. That's because the Union Jack used to represent everybody in the United Kingdom equally, and it was always the case. If Scotland were playing an international, they'd probably fire the Union Jack as well, especially the Rangers supporters, over the saltire. And that is true today, as it was 60 or 70 years ago. The problem is, and the problem always is the suppression of the English identity of the patriots in the United Kingdom. Scottish nationalism is fine, Welsh nationalism is fine, Northern Irish is ambiguous. You've got the most loyal people to the United Kingdom in Northern Ireland, and you've also got the worst excesses of Irish nationalism as well. So it's a mixed bag in Northern Ireland. But the point I'm trying to make is the home nations are allowed to wear both badges of identity, and they're allowed to do that. And the Unionists in the home nations, the Celtic nations, don't see any conflict there. The resentment comes when you tell somebody that they can only express one facet of their identity. Cards on the table, I'm British, I'm a Unionist, I support the United Kingdom, and I see it because it's a matter of legal reality and constitutional law that Scotland and England merged into a single United Kingdom over 300 years ago. Anybody who thinks differently, whilst they are entitled to their own opinions, of course, I'm not going to deny your identity, you do you, of course. The legal and practical reality is we are all citizens in the United Kingdom. With that in mind, I'm going to play this first video, and this is from a Labour peer earlier this week. Let's just have a look at what this numpty has to say.
The Prime Minister was clearly trying to do is to draw a distinction between using a flag in a proper way to support this country and using a flag to intimidate people. Now,
it's not being used to intimidate people. That is an interpretation that some people are taking from the raising of the colours or the Unite the Kingdom rally. At the Unite the Kingdom rally, there was not only the flag of St George, there was Union Jacks, there were the Welsh flags, the Scottish saltire, the St Andrew's saltire, the Ulster banner, the tricolour, all the flags, the Cornwall flag, all the flags of the United Kingdom were there. That's the issue. They only have a specific issue with the flag of St George, and I do take issue with that. As a British citizen in England from Cheshire, there was no contradiction with me being a northerner from Cheshire, with Welsh and Irish ancestry, to being English, to being British. There was no contradictions. I will never say European. I am from the continent of Europe, but I'm not a European.
No one can object to the use of the Union flag. I am British. Or the Cross of St George. Well, that's what I want to come to, Nigel. I am British. That's my flag, and I don't believe that it's possible to challenge anyone for using that. What I'm not so sure about is the Cross of St George. The Cross of St George is an English flag.
Guilty. It is an English flag. Throw me in prison. Actually, Kia, don't throw me in prison. Alright, I don't want to give you any ideas. He's right, it is an English flag. Guilty as charged. Lock me in the tower.
Now, when England play football, perfectly right that should be displayed.
Again, that argument of flying it during football is only recent. Back to my pictures earlier in the video. At the World Cup in '66, there were very few flags of St. George. It was the Union Jack.
When England play rugby, why are people displaying the cross of St. George and claiming that is somehow patriotic?
Because you're flying the English flag in England. That's the issue. That's the issue they've got. If you look at the United States of America, you've got 50 separate, legally distinct states under a federal flag and a federal government. Each of the individual states have their own legislatures. Some have two chambers, and others have one chamber. But they all have a state flag as well. And it's the same with the provinces and territories in Canada or the states in Australia. You can have layered identity, which is why there's no contradiction between me being a Cheshire man in England, in the United Kingdom. There was no contradiction there. But this Labour peer doesn't like it. He's not a fan.
Because of the, I mean, you're obviously in the Emily Thornberry camp. You look down your nose at people that fly.
On the contrary, I don't look down my nose at anybody.
Well, she did 10 years ago,
Well,
and it didn't go down very well.
Nigel, that isn't fair. I do not look down my nose at anyone. What I'm trying to make is a distinction between the flag of a British citizen, which is a Union flag, and the Cross of St. George, which is a flag of England.
And what's wrong?
Now, that's fine.
What's wrong with Englishness?
Well, because, and there's nothing wrong with Englishness, but what is wrong is English nationalism.
Why? Why? That's a simple question. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I've mentioned it again in previous videos on my channel. Labour played the identity politics card before it was cool. Identity politics, playing different minorities against a majority and giving the minority carte blanche over the governance of the United Kingdom, came into prominence in the 2010s with the minority interest, whether you're ethnic minority or another protected characteristic, getting to decide what the majority do. This was the original identity politics in this United Kingdom, in my view. What Labour did is they seen there was a growing resentment to some people in Scotland and Wales that England pulls rank in the United Kingdom. And England, rightly or wrongly, tells Scotland and Wales what to do. I've never seen it this way. And only people who think of themselves Scottish or Welsh would say it that way. Because before 1997, everybody, if you're from Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, or England, you all had British representation in the House of Commons. Whether a MP from Glasgow or an MP from Cardiff voted along partisan lines with their home nation or with other members of their party in the Labour or the Tory party was neither here nor there, because it was consolidated British vote for every single citizen. What Labour did is they created a two-tiered society, where British citizens in Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales get two votes. They get to vote in their own assemblies and they get to vote in the British Parliament. This is inherently imbalanced and it's skewed away from England. That is causing major resentments in England. It gives rise to the theory or the idea that England should separate from the United Kingdom. I've never felt this way. I've been to Scotland. I spent a lot of time in Scotland and Wales. I feel they are much part of my country as Liverpool and Manchester. More so if you go into the rural areas, because the diversity hasn't hit those areas yet. There's no meaningful difference. There is a separate legal system in Scotland and Northern Ireland. There's 50 separate legal systems in the United States. That's not a valid argument for why you should be a separate country, in my view. That's just what federalism is in a large state. We're not even a large state, so you can't even make the federal argument, really. Abolish devolution, there's no problem. The identity politics card, that's what it did. It's the divide and rule. It's the oldest tactic in the book. It's been dressed up as being kind to the minorities because they were oppressed by the evil English voter. But that's all it is. It's very, very skin deep.
We are
I
a
see.
united
I
country.
see. I see. So
I do not believe that it is necessary
so you're
to
part
emphasise
hang on.
nationalism.
You're part of a government that
No, I'm
gave
not part
vent
of a
to Scottish nationalism. You were part of a government that gave vent to Welsh nationalism. Part of a government that compromised with Irish nationalism, but we can't be English nationalists.
No, we can be English and we can be proud of being England when England are playing football or England are playing rugby.
Only in that context, that's the Labour peers' argument, because if you start to unpack it or unpick it in the way that I've done in this video, bearing in mind that I am a British unionist, I believe in the unity and sanctity of this United Kingdom, that's where you notice the disparity. That is where you notice things like the West Lothian question. This is where you notice things like the Barnett formula, again, which I haven't got any specific shock with personally as a British citizen in England. However, this is where the resentment comes in. This is why you get a lot of large YouTube channels, no names, that will come out and say, well, I'm English, I'm not British, I'm English. This is what devolution has wrought on this realm. And this is what this Labour peer is desperate to subdue. I'm proud to be English. I will fly my English flag, and I'll fly it all the time. There is no contradiction in the identity that I have. He is upset that the working class people have noticed that they're not being represented effectively by their MPs. They are not effectively represented, I don't think they ever have been, by the Labour Party, and they are looking to alternatives.
But I don't believe that it's appropriate to put up flags of the Cross of St George in substitution for the flag that we owe our allegiance to, which is the Union flag, because we are British.
Well, I feel that I can be English and British. I see no contradiction. I
see no contradiction, but the reality is people are putting up the Cross of St George rather than the Union flag.
I think
that is the worry.
Well, I think both are going up, to be fair.
Both are going up. It may predominantly start with the flag of St George, but both are going up all across the UK. In addition to that, you're getting the Welsh flag going up in Wales with the Union Jack, and you're getting the Saltire going up with the Union flag or the Union Jack in Scotland. So it may start at a very specific point in England. However, it is now nationwide, all over the UK, and it is spilling over into continental Europe and some of the former realm nations or nation states such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada. It's becoming a global trend. Long may it continue.
But I understand. One, it started off with the Cross of St George more. I do have a Cross of St George waistcoat, which I do wear to sporting occasions.
I've got cufflinks. Yeah, I think I've worn them on your show. I've got Cross of St George cufflinks.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
And just to be perfectly clear, we're not American. We're British in the United Kingdom. We don't owe our allegiance to the Union Jack. We owe our allegiance to the Crown. This isn't a pro-monarchy video. That'll be another video. This is a pro-UK video. This is a patriotic video. We owe our allegiance to the Crown. Debate me if you want that to change. That's another matter. We do not owe our allegiance to the flag of St George or the Union Jack, as the Constitution, unwritten though it is, currently stands. So when this Labour peer is saying you owe your allegiance to any flag, that is a lie. This is what we're dealing with though, and I found this video on X today, and it's rather comical, because this is the demographic, the voter base of Labour, and this is the most dangerous creature in the Western world, which is the white liberal woman, the most dangerous creature on the planet, especially to Western civilization. This is what we're up against, and this is the only demographic that the Labour Party hasn't alienated yet.
camera. Got it on camera. Why'd you attack me, my ladders? You didn't tell me. You're blocking my camera. I'm blocking my camera. I think you're racist.
Just for clarification as well, the guys in this video, they're not actually putting up a flag of St. George. They are putting up a Union Jack. And this lady, this liberal, is still calling the police. She goes on to say that they're really mean and they're racist. So she's putting her predetermined assumptions onto the motives and intentions of these guys. People could be flying the flags for many reasons. This is Britain, this is England, this is MAGA country, to coin an American phrase. There could be 100 different reasons for flying the flag. Simple patriotism, a sense of self, a sense of identity, a sense of pride in your nation. That's not the pride flag. But she's made her determination that they are racist.
House, and they're now outside of the ladders, and they just broke my shoe because I stood on their ladder. They broke my shoe, and he's still filming me. Yeah, my shoe. Pull me out of the way. So they've been aggressive. They're outside. Yeah,
we're here waiting. We're here waiting.
We've got several neighbours who are trying to call the police. You really need to get them because they're racist. They're really mean.
They've damaged her shoe. They followed her. The racist and the kicker, they are really, really mean. This is what we're dealing with. This is why we don't get crimes getting solved. This is why you get people knocking on your door saying, can you apologise for a Facebook post? This is what we're up against, and this is the mind, this is the mentality of the liberal Labour voter. Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe I'm being unkind to this lady. Maybe she's got a point. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to give you my view. This is my musing on the situation. Labour are desperate to downplay England because England, by and large, is the silent partner in the United Kingdom. We're not meant to rebel. We're meant to just sit and take it. Me personally, I would abolish devolution completely. It's failed in its entirety. Abolish the Senate, abolish Holyrood, abolish Stormont, be deal with it, return direct rule completely to Westminster. That would be my view on the matter. Now, your mileage may vary as always. Comment below, like and subscribe. I will be British until I leave the multi-coil. That's just my view. Have a good day and thank you for your time.